And look, you guys need to know like my more broad view on what's happening with the riots in LA. I look back at the way I covered the riots in the summer of 2020 and onward, and I was a coward, totally cowardly. I will admit that. I totally engaged in the mostly peaceful protests narrative, even though I knew that wasn't the case.
Dude, the George Floyd was like 95% fucking peaceful. Like, what is she talking about? Dude, yet no, she's trying to rewrite history. She's like, oh, I used to be defund the police, but now, oh my God, Trump was right about everything. Dude, I'm waiting for her to put the Trump was right about everything hat on. You know it's coming.
Because I was terrified. I was terrified of dealing with the backlash that I now very clearly am open to accepting, because I've been dealing with it from like from the rad libs, let's just put it that way, for like the last 2-3 years. But at the time, I was too afraid to deal with the backlash. I didn't want to be smeared as some sort of racist for acknowledging that rioting was taking place.
Dude, she is such a massive racist. It's not even funny.
This time around, I'm not going to do that because I felt terrible that I wasn't doing my job. I let my audience down. Even if the audience doesn't want to hear it, I don't care. Like, respecting your audience means you tell them the truth. They can do with that information what they please. If they decide they hate me for reporting accurate information, it is what it is. But I have to respect the audience enough to give them accurate information. So if riots are happening, I'm not going to provide cover for them and say, no, mostly peaceful protests. What we're seeing on the streets of LA
is mostly peaceful protests. Like, dude, what are we seeing? Yeah, we're seeing, I didn't see anything there except a cop fucking acting out. What are we seeing? We're seeing people dancing. We're seeing this. Mostly peaceful. Okay, mostly peaceful. Dude, that's mostly peaceful, Anna.
Rioters haven't taken control of everything. It is limited. It's nowhere close to the types of riots we saw in the summer of 2020. But I am worried about it escalating. And Woz, you made a really good point. It's unlikely to escalate to the point that the riots escalated in 2020 because people aren't jobless, you know? I mean, it was...
Again, though, what happened in 2020 was like deserved, okay? The riots in 2020, first off, most of that was peaceful, but when it became unpeaceful and some fucking buildings got burned down or vandalized, that was deserved. The government murdered someone in front of us. The people that are supposed to protect us murdered one of us in front of everybody ruthlessly with cameras on them without even caring. They were smiling like we should have burned more fucking buildings in 2020. Are you fucking shitting me? You think you're supposed to answer when the cops murder you right in front of you? You're supposed to just sit there and say, yes, sir, will you kill a few more of us? Like, fuck you. If a cop kills people, you're supposed to burn down the fucking police station. And no regrets from that. And anything short of that, you ain't even a fucking American. Like, fuck Anna. This shit, bro. It's like you murder us and we're supposed to show up and not break a window. Like, fuck you. Okay? You come into my community and murder someone, I am gonna burn your fucking building down. And I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I'm not a rioter at that point. I am, returning the goddamn gift.
Throwing rocks and burning cars on fire and putting the Mexican flag on it so that people watching this on the internet and on the news would be like, oh yeah, Mexico, reckless, crazy, send them back. Like, why? Like, I don't know why you would want to message that.
Well, dude, first off, the guys that are doing that shit are like just troublemakers, bro. This guy, like, what is this guy trying to psychoanalyze? Like dudes that are, taking advantage of the situation? Like, why are we focusing on that guy You know what I'm saying?
But I do think, and we've talked about this so much, you and I specifically, winning on messaging, winning on convincing and persuasion seems to be lost to a lot of people on the left. Like, they're just above it.
Dude, I don't even think the dude waving the Mexican flag is a leftist. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even know if that guy's a leftist. Like, what is that statement? That guy is simply upset because Mexicans are getting targeted. You know what I'm saying? The guy with the flag, I understand the guy with the flag. I mean, if you look Mexican, they're targeting you. You know what I mean? So he's waving a Mexican flag being like, why are you fucking targeting us? But we don't know that that guy's a leftist. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. I just don't like already how this guy and Anna are attributing the dudes waving the Mexican flags to like some sort of democratic statement, right? You know what I mean? Like, the fuck is that, bro? This shit is simply Mexican people are being targeted, okay? They're being targeted in devious and deceitful and unconstitutional ways. So they are pissed and they are lashing out. Now, are they going to be perfect about the way they lash out? No, they're not, okay? Some people are going to overreact the same way that Trump is overreacting, right? But at the end of the day, we know that Trump is using immigration in constitution-defying ways. Look at how this thing started. Abrego Garcia, they put him in prison with a bunch of other guys who committed no crime. They took a bunch of people that committed no fucking crime and they put them in a fucking prison in El Salvador. So already, like, Trump and all those motherfuckers deserve a 9-iron to the fucking dome. Okay, now they're going into LA and they're targeting people at Home Depot. They arrested a 4-year-old girl and just disappeared her. What the fuck are these guys doing? And now after all that, you're going to complain about the dude waving the flag that says quit fucking with our community? Like, bro, like, what the fuck is with these people, dude? Dude, if these guys were in America in the 1700s, we would still be sniffing the King of England's ass. Like, what the fuck are we even doing, bro?
It's like, my cause is so righteous, I don't have to convince anybody. Anybody's not with my cause is the devil. Which I'm just like, guys, that's a freaking mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so,
if you're involved in any form of political activism and you're...
Yeah, you know what's funny, though, about this? Here's the thing about protest policing, okay, guys, right? And this is, I'm calling bullshit. We're going to hear Anna's thing, though. But they always say, oh, dude, you burned a car, you waved a flag, you broke a window, you're being too loud, you stopped traffic. But let's roll back to Colin Kaepernick. What did that guy do? All that guy did was this. He took a fucking knee, guys. Remember that? Remember that? No glass breaking, no yelling, no fucking, you know what I'm saying? No glass breaking, no yelling, no fucking smashing. You know what I mean? Nothing. No violence. Didn't make a peep. They were fucking silent, bro. They didn't like that protest either. If you do it peacefully, you get fucking beat on. You get excommunicated. You get hounded out of the NFL. Okay? There is no right way to protest, guys. There isn't. There's no right way to protest.
Our justice system, sometimes they get things wrong, of course. And sometimes it takes a while for them to do the right thing or for things to play out in the, judicial branch and finally get justice when an injustice has occurred. But that's far more effective than throwing cinder blocks at the heads of police officers in Los Angeles or destroying buildings, doing graffiti, lighting things on fire.
See, I want to pause with the graffiti, guys. And I want to take this in. Process this with me for a sec, guys. Look at 𝗙cie 𝗵𝗡 here. She works for DHS. She's a spokesperson. But so she says, we will not stand for this. Okay? We will not stand for this. And what is it? It's some graffiti. They're like, man, you spray painted a phone box and a building and a fence, and we will not stand for you spray painting nasty shit. But like, look at this shit though. These Nazi ICE motherfuckers sent people with no criminal history to a fucking prison in a foreign country with no possibility of getting out. They literally took people who had committed no crime. They took them to a foreign country and put them in a terrorist prison. And they're like saying, yeah, whoopsie, but no, you spray paint a fence and there's going to be serious consequences. It's like, oh, really? If there's going to be a serious consequence for spray painting a fence, what fucking consequence are you motherfuckers going to pay for sending innocent people who've committed no crime to a foreign fucking prison? Like, this is the bullshit. Like, yeah, you guys get to Nazi some motherfuckers right out of the country and put them in prison for no reason. No fucking parole, no way to get out, no contact. Their families didn't even know. And then you're going to have the nerve to say if we spray paint a building, we're in trouble? Like, fuck you.
You lose me, honestly.
Cool.
You lose me entirely.
It looks cool to people who are 22 on the internet, sure. Yeah. But the vast majority, and like what people got to understand about America and especially older people, one of the biggest appeals of our country is this notion of the rule of law, that the society is not lawless. There are rules and there are order. And that's what people really enjoy about being in this country. And that if you commit a crime, for the most part, they're gonna prosecute you. Save it. I know.
See again, and I know this guy is like, I know he means well with the whole like social order and shit like that, and people want social order. And yeah, I know we found out we lost Anna. Oh shit. We keep losing Anna. Like, you know, every time a right-wing podcast hits the start button, we've lost Anna. But we have to stop for a second, guys, and just reference what I just said, what I just showed you about how this is a crime punishable by jail time, but sending people who've done nothing to the El Salvadorian prison is not a crime, right? Luigi shooting the CEO is a crime, but the CEO he shot, killing 100,000 people by denying him health care, is not a crime, right? Burning a car at the LA protest is violence, but stripping away Medicare and food stamps from poor people so they starve or die doesn't get called violence. Because the reality is we have a bullshit social order where a lot of people are able to offend. We get attacked every day with the violence of like being underpaid, having our medical care taken away from us, or paying for medical care and being denied by the insurance company, being bled out by rent and by insurance, and then your insurance doesn't even cover you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, we get attacked violently in capitalism. You know, the cops who ran over that guy with the horse, the woman who gets shot with the rubber bullet to the fucking head. It's like we experience so much violence that never gets acknowledged. Okay? And there is no consequences for these guys. And that's a real problem. So this social order that these guys are talking about is really nice, but you can't tell me that I have to obey your fucking social order when the guy who shoots the murderous CEO is going to go to prison, but the murderous CEO is going to get millions of dollars and get another job where he can kill more fucking people. Okay? It's like we need some type of parity with the actual violence that is incurred. Like, I want justice for the violence that is incurred on me by the healthcare system, by the educational system. You know, I want some fucking restitution for having to, you know, absorb the violence of capitalism and the violence of this wealth inequality and the violence of our institutions. Like, I want some fucking restitution. Don't give me your fucking social order when I am crushed under the violence of capitalism and then I burn something and you tell me I'm the guy who's the problem. It's like, you, boss. The thing that pisses me off about this whole diatribe with TYT is what they want, okay? What they want is they want us to show up every day and get abused and beaten down and run over by the violence of our, you know, our housing systems, our financial systems, our criminal justice systems, our tax systems. We are supposed to bear the brunt of this violence, the healthcare system, and then we're supposed to show up and just take the violence day in and day out and never act out and never break a window and never smash anything and never quit your job without 2 weeks notice. We're supposed to show up and pay our healthcare premiums, and then when we're on our deathbed and we're watching all our money disappear because our insurance won't pay for it, we're supposed to just show up and be a good citizen. And I'm like, fuck you, bro. I think maybe it's about time we do exercise some fucking violence, start fighting back against the violence of capitalism. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.